Hiya, so today I'm going to be reading Amber Brown is Not a Crayon by Paula Danziger. I'll be reading it in chapters for each video. Chapter 1. In just 10 minutes, our entire class is getting on a plane for our flight to China. I, Amber Brown, am one very excited third grader. My best friend Justin Daniels is going to sit next to me. Right now, he's sitting at the desk next to me, pretending to be an alarm clock. All I hear now is a quiet tick-tock, tick-tock, but I'm absolutely positively sure that he has something else planned. We always sit together when our class flies to some faraway place. In fact, we've been sitting together since we first met in preschool, but that's another story. Finding my passport and tickets is not easy because I, Amber Brown, am one very messy third grader. I quickly pull things out of my desk: the book I'm going to use for my report, half a roll of strawberry licorice, my sticker book, 2 headbands, 7 rubber bands, 11 paper clips, 2 workbooks, and finally, my passport and tickets, which I have put in a specially decorated case. I used a lot of my stickers on it. Bzzz, squawk! Justin starts rocking back and forth. I hit him on the head with my passport and tickets. Okay, what are you doing this time? I'm a cuckoo bird, alarm clock, and my tail feathers are caught. Justin bobs back and forth. Having Justin Daniels as my best friend sure makes life more fun. So does having Mr. Cohen as my teacher. Get ready to board. Mr. Cohen flicks the lights off and on to signal the end of one activity and the beginning of another. All of the chairs in the classroom are lined up so that it looks like a real plane, with aisles to walk down and places for the pilot, co-pilot and flight attendants. Mr. Cohen is always the pilot. He says that's because he's the only one in the room with a driver's licence, but I know the real reason he's always the pilot is because he wants to make sure that we get to where we're supposed to go. Once he let Roger Hart be the pilot, but when we got there, Roger announced that he had taken us to Disneyland instead of there. So now Mr. Cohen is the pilot all of the time, and he picks different kids to be co-pilot and flight attendants. When my turn comes, I want to be co-pilot. I don't want to have to pass out the little packets of peanuts because some of the boys act so immature, making monkey sounds and stuff. Not Justin though. He and I spend the time reading Room 3B in Flight magazine. Everyone writes articles for it. We also do the crossword puzzle that Mr. Cohen makes up. Well, actually, to be honest, sometimes Justin makes monkey sounds too. The class lines up, waiting for our passports to be checked by Mr. Cohen. Hannah Burton looks at the photo on her passport. I hate this picture of me. I don't know why we couldn't just bring one from home. Every time we start studying a new country, we fly there, and every time we do, Hannah complains about the picture on her passport. You look perfectly good, I tell her, looking at her school picture. We all use our school pictures except for Brandy Colwyn, who came to school after the pictures were taken. Her passport has a picture that Mr. Cohen took with the instant camera. Hannah shakes her head. I am perfectly good. I just look terrible in my picture. I choose to ignore Hannah's correction. You know that Mr. Cohen wants our make-believe passports to look like the real thing. Remember when he showed us his real passport? It looked awful, and he doesn't really look that bad. Hannah makes a face and grins. Amber, just because you forgot the day the pictures were going to be taken and your picture looks like you jumped out of bed, threw on any old clothes and combed your hair with a rake doesn't mean that the rest of us don't care about how we look in our photos. I look at Hannah's picture. Her long blonde hair is perfectly combed with a really pretty multicoloured ribbon beret. I look at my picture. Brown eyes, freckled nose, my brown slightly messy hair is held back with 2 bagel-clipped shaped braids. I'm wearing normal non-picture day taking clothes. In fact, I'm wearing my favourite things, a very long t-shirt that my Aunt Pamela brought back from her trip to London and a pair of black stirrup pants. Even though it doesn't show, I remember which pants I was wearing. I, Amber Brown, have a very good memory. I don't look so bad, and anyway, I forgot that the pictures were being taken that day, even though Mr. Cohen told us 1,000,000 times, even though he had written 2 million reminders on the blackboard, so I'm a little forgetful. And Hannah Burton isn't always totally right. I don't comb my hair with a rake, maybe my fingers sometimes, but never a rake. I like your picture, Justin grins at me. It looks exactly like you, not just the way you look, but the way you act. You mean messy, Hannah laughs. I want to pull that off, that stupid little bow that she's wearing off her head. Don't you dare, Justin pulls on my arm. I like the way that Justin usually knows what I'm thinking, and I usually know what he's thinking. Mr. Cohen checks our passports, looks at our boarding tickets, and then Joey Fortunato leads us to our seats. Once everyone is seated, Joey shows us how to fasten our seatbelts and tells us what to do in case of an emergency. Mr. Cohen gets on his make-believe microphone and tells us to get ready for the trip of a lifetime, and off we go. Into the wild blue yonder, the third grade is on its way to China.